I'm Chef Mari from foodweb.tokyo. Welcome to the first cooking webinar dojo. It's a dojo, and you're gonna cook. In this series, we're gonna be teaching you authentic Japanese cooking, such as sushi, ramen, tonkatsu, so on and so on. I think sushi is the best thing to start because sushi is really, really popular in Japan, and it's popular all over the world right now. This company is based in San Francisco and Tokyo, so we go back and forth, and we see sushi everywhere. So let's dive in. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to wash rice. Rice is the most important thing on sushi making, because if your rice is not good, your sushi is not good. So we're going to wash rice, and a lot of people don't wash rice in this country or just wash a little bit, but it has to be really cleaned. In Japan, when you start to learn how to be sushi chef, that's what you're going to do forever. You're going to be trained how to wash rice. And we actually use short grain or medium grain rice. I have medium grain here. In the US, you can get short grain or medium grain. In Japan, it's all short grain. So first, you're going to put a lot of water inside. Then the first water we drain. So the rice is dry. The first water rice touches, it starts to absorb. And this is the most dirty water, so you want to drain that first. And also, we don't really say wash rice in Japan for cooking the rice. We say sharpen the rice. So that means we need friction to wash the rice. We are taught to use the palm of our hand to wash rice, or you can just do this. This is washing. This is not washing. So you need to wash using friction, then change the water. You can see how dirty the water is. If you don't wash, you're going to be eating this. Then we repeat this about 4 times. Rice crop is once a year. Fall. So in fall, new rice has more moisture than the old rice. In summertime, the rice is old, almost a year old, and it has less moisture. So normally, rice and water ratio for short grain or medium grain is 1:1. But if you want to cook perfect rice, then fall, when you have new crop, you put a little bit less water than 1:1. And in summertime, you put a little bit more water. The water is getting much cleaner. And this rice has to be washed pretty quickly. We should wash it within 90 seconds. last water. Okay, then you can put water up to the point of 1 to 1. Either soak it in or put it into colander and wait about 20 minutes before you start cooking. So do you have rice cooker? Rice cooker is very easy to cook. So if you have rice cooker, which cooks about 20 minutes, that's a cheaper rice cooker like I have. And if your rice cooker takes about 45 minutes, that's a more expensive rice cooker. That has computer chip in it, and it does everything for you. So once you wash the rice, if your rice cooker takes 45 minutes, just put it in, press the button, and it will cook it for you. If you have cheap rice cooker like mine, then wait about 20 minutes. Then push the button, and it'll cook in about 20 minutes. Then simmer another 20 minutes. Have you ever opened rice cooker right after it washed? If you do that, you can hear it's still sizzling. That's not ready, so you wait another 20 minutes. Then everything settles down, steep it, then it would be perfect. Okay, now we're done. We're gonna start cooking. So the most important thing is a setup. You probably saw my earlier email saying what to set up, but you need cutting board, wet towel, and this is the sushi roller called makisu. And you need makisu. You need knife. Any knife is fine that you can find at home. Thinner one is better. If you have smaller one, it's better too. Okay? Then you need a bowl of water, and you have splash of vinegar in here. And you need sesame seed in the shaker. And you will need a couple of more bowls and plates just for your ingredients. Okay, so you need to have this ready on your table. As I said, these are the tools we need, and this is makisu. Right? Makisu had smooth side and bumpy side. We normally use smooth side. And also, another important thing is this. This is called oke or hangiri, and this is to mix rice with rice vinegar. To mix it, we need to wet this so that rice doesn't stick. Also, this is called shamoji, and this is a rice bottle. This needs to be wet as well. And once we put vinegar, we'll mix it. We'll show you later. And at the same time, we're going to fan the rice so that it cools down fast. So these are the tools that we need. And we're going to do different rolls today. 3 rolls plus 1 sort of nigiri type of sushi. Hosomaki. Hosomaki is a thin roll with seaweed outside. Uramaki is inside out rolls, and those are the popular in the US. And futomaki. Futo means fat, so it's a fat roll. Then temari sushi. Temari sushi, te means hand. So mari means bowl. So it's a small hand-sized bowl roll. It's tiny, tiny bowl, and it's really, really cute. So I thought it would be fun to make it. So first thing we have to do is to wrap this makisu, because if we don't wrap it, when we make inside out rolls, rice will stick. So you get plastic wrap. Make sure there's no crease. Then this Smooth side down. Then wrap it this side too. Really tight. So we're wrapping it this way. Then expand it, fold it over. If you don't expand it, when you roll it, it gets too tight. Then you want to do this twice because the plastic wrap is not quite big enough. This time, smooth side down, but different way. Put it different way so you wrap it from both sides. And make sure to close it. Now, makisu is ready for inside-out rolls. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make sushi vinegar. So sushi vinegar, you see it at the store, either sushi vinegar or rice vinegar. And often sushi vinegar is mixed. Rice vinegar is not mixed. And it's best that you make your vinegar. Vinegar is one of the most important things. Rice and vinegar. Because sushi chefs talk about rice and vinegar. They don't talk about fish so much. So rice, if you don't do your rice right, your sushi is not good. So sushi vinegar is very important. So what you need is rice vinegar, salt, sugar, cup, and often you see people mixing it in a bowl or cooking it in the pot. But cooking has to be fun and fast. So I'm going to show you a different way. So you use this. For 4 cups of rice, we need half a cup of sushi vinegar solution. Half a cup. Then you need 1 tablespoon of salt. I normally use sea salt. Then 3 tablespoons of sugar. It actually has quite a bit of sugar inside. Normally, vinegar sushi is sweeter than fish sushi. So fish sushi, you can do 1 and 1 as well. Then you just pour vinegar into this. And what you have to do is to just shake it. You don't have to do anything time consuming. You just shake it and leave it. Then shake it again a couple minutes later. And your sushi vinegar is done. And you can make it however you want it. You can put more sugar, more salt, less salt. That's it. Okay, so we're going to start cutting veggies. So these are cucumbers, 2 different cucumbers. This is English cucumber. This is Persian cucumbers. And there's something in between. Japanese cucumber is a little bit bigger than Persian and smaller than English. This English cucumber is pretty small right now. It's winter time. But those three are the best cucumbers to use for sushi. I would not recommend pickling cucumbers or American cucumbers. They are a little bit not as crispy as these. So I recommend these two or Japanese cucumbers, which is most expensive. Then today we're going to use avocados. Avocados, sometimes it's hard to choose. When you take off the stem, and if this is clean, it's a good sign. And firm is okay. Don't use anything too soft for sushi. And I'm going to show you some of the knives as well. So this is the knife I had before. And you can use this type of knife. If it's thinner, it's better because when you cut sushi, the surface is smaller. This is the actual sashimi knife. It's one side. This side has no blade, only this side. And this is Western knife, but it's also thin. These are the better knives to use. And to cut the veggies, we're just going to use regular knife. So we're going to start cutting the veggies. So the most important thing is the length. So typically, we will cut all the veggies and the fish half the size of nori, seaweed. So for instance, this one, you cut the end. So this is where it's growing. This part is better than this part. So you just cut a little bit of the bottom part. That's all you need to cut. Then cut it in half length of seaweed. Same for this. This is the hanging side. Cut a little bit of this and cut it in half. And so it's supposed to be the same length. Yes, exactly the same length. Then you cut this into half. Then for this size of cucumbers, cut it in half again. Then once you cut it, take off the seeds. Be careful not to cut your fingers off. Seeds are great. It's actually tasty. This part is refreshing. However, if you leave this, it's a little bit watery. So sushi gets watery. So you take this off. And it's same for this type of cucumber as well. Cut it in half, quarter. Once you cut it into quarter, take off the seeds. If this is too difficult, you can do it this way, or you can also do it this way. And we're going to make hosomaki, uramaki, and futomaki. For futomaki, this is a good size, pretty big. Hosomaki, cut these into half. These into half. And for hosomaki, this is for uramaki. This is for futomaki. Hosomaki is a thin roll, about this size. So 3 different sizes. These are inside out rolls, uramaki, hosomaki, small rolls, futomaki, big rolls. Then we're gonna cut avocados. Avocados, you cut it in half first, this way. Twist. This is beautiful. Then you have to take the pit out. If you are not used to doing this task, or if you are not used to cooking, I recommend putting it onto the table, then aim at the pit, then twist. It's easily come off. So these avocados too, cut into half. These are mostly used for inside out rolls. So cut this into half again. Then cut it again. But this time, make sure to keep the skin on. Just put the slit on, keep the skin on. This way, you can just peel it easily. 2 slices. So for this class, whichever you have the cucumbers, you need 2 pieces of hosomaki cucumbers, medium size. Then you need 4 pieces of small size uramaki and 1 big size cucumber. So you need 4 small, 2 medium, 1 large. And avocado, you need 4 slices of these. So you need to make 1 more. Okay, so now the rice is cooked and it's steeped. I'm going to put rice into this hangiri. You need to steep it, as I said, so it settles down. If you take the rice out too early, rice doesn't come out cleanly. If it's steeped enough, it should come out like this. Almost nothing left. Okay, then this is 4 cups of rice, so I need half a cup of sushi vinegar solution. And we normally catch it with this, it's called shamoji. And shamoji is the rice puddle. Then I kind of break it, then pour more. And you notice that I'm not really mixing. It's more like folding the rice vinegar into rice, just like baking. And actually, in Japan, we call this action not mix, but cut the rice. And another important factor is to cool it down really quickly. It's kind of difficult to do both at the same time. Normally, this is kids' job. At home, kids would fan it while the mother mixes the rice. And this way, you will mix it, fan it, and if you fan it and you cool down the rice fast, the rice gets shiny. So that's what you want to do. This okay, it's hard to find. This costs more than $200, so I don't know if you would like to buy it. If you want to, you can buy smaller version, or you can use any bowl that you like. If you have a wooden bowl, that would be good because this is wet so that rice doesn't stick, and wood would take the extra moisture. That's why we use this. So if you have a salad bowl which is not treated, that would be the best. And since we are using vinegar, something with iron would be the last item that you want to use. A glass bowl or a plastic bowl is really good. It doesn't stick. The rice doesn't stick. Okay, next we're going to prep the fish. Okay, so I'm going to start with salmon. So here's the salmon and the knife. So the salmon, this is the middle part. And this is pretty much middle part of salmon. And you can see this white line here. And you can see the black line here. You cannot use those. If you have this type of salmon, then basically you need to cut this off, this white part, this part off. You can see this little blood coming out. Then you can make saku. Saku is the square block that you get at the fish store. So often you just get this from the fish store instead of the whole thing. And basically you want to make this square block. And from here, we're going to take roll part. Also today, we're going to do Tamari Sushi. So Tamari Sushi is a round sushi about this big. So you want to cut the fish of that size. Then slice it thin so you can put it on top. And this little part, you can open it like this. So you are able to make 3 different rolls. Okay, then if you were to make rolls, these are for Tamari Sushi. And for the rolls, you can just cut strips of salmon. Then, just like how we did it with the cucumber, make the right length, which is the half of nori. Half of nori size. And here's 1 roll worth of salmon. Okay, so this is for the roll, and this is for tamari. Okay, next is tuna. Tuna is a pretty big fish. So you can tell there's a black line here, and here's the white line. And you can pretty much use this part here, the top part. So what you would do is to put the knife in here and go through to cut this off. Oops. Then take this blood line off. This also, most of the time, you will get saku, which is the square fish. Like this. This is what you normally get at the store. So you want to make something of this shape. Then, just like we did, you want to make temari piece. You would hold the knife like this, then slice it. Like this. Then the roll part, just like before, you just cut the fish like this. If it's a little bit too big, then you can always cut it down. Just like this. Then get your nori out and cut it in half. Obviously, you can use these part too. You can just make like this to make one roll. And fish is not one square shape, so you just have to be accommodating on the shape and cut these pieces according to what you need. And so what we're going to do with this, the rest of it, is the spicy tuna, like this part that we did not use. So this part, especially this one, around here, it's very sinewy. You can see the line, so you cannot eat it. Just after you cut it, you cannot eat it. If you were to cook it, you can cook it, no problem. But if you eat it raw, you cannot eat this part. It's too sinewy. So what you do with this is to make spicy tuna. It's your favorite. So spoon like this, really thin spoon, is easier to use. And go against this line and scrape tuna. This is going to be spicy tuna. And obviously you don't have to make it spicy. You can just scrape it and mix with something else. You can mix it with sesame oil. That's pretty tasty as well. So you have different ways of using it. Okay, it takes some time for you to scrape all of this. And once you get used to it, it gets faster. But at the beginning, it might take some time. Okay, so I think I have enough for a roll. So what I'm going to do is to put this into a bowl. Then mix it with spicy sauce. This spicy sauce can be anything. And how much it's up to you. If you like it spicy, really spicy, then you can put a lot. If you don't like it spicy, you can just put put a little bit. Then some restaurants put mayonnaise in here too. So it's up to you how much you want to use it. Okay, so we have two different types of preparations. One is for spicy tuna. This is for temari, and this is for roll. Okay, next one is crab meat. So there are two options. One is, we call it kanikama, but these are basically fake crab meat. So this is popular in Europe called surimi, and suru means grind. So it's a grind fish with the crab meat, and it tastes kind of like crab meat. And in Japan, I think a lot of people use it like this to make rolls. So just use as is. And you have regular real crab meat. And this, we normally mix it with mayonnaise. And make sure this is squeezed so there's no extra moisture. If there are a lot of liquid in it, then the sushi will get really wet. Okay, this is probably about 2 to 3 rolls. And you get mayonnaise. I put about tablespoon and a half for about 2 rolls. And this too, it's up to you how much mayonnaise you want to put in. But if you put too much mayonnaise, then this gets too wet, and it will come out from the side or from the rice. And if you don't have enough, then it will not mix together. So you have to find a great point. Okay, this is pretty good, like this. So it kind of sticks together. And on this one, what you can do is when you roll it, you can just put mayonnaise into a roll. Then put the crab meat like this and roll it. Next, I'm going to do shrimp. So I'm trying to get things that you can get easily, not specialty items. So I'm doing tuna, maybe you can get it, crab meat, shrimp, avocado, cucumber, salmon. You probably be able to get it. That's why I'm doing it. And then this technique is to cut the belly side of shrimp. Then take these out. By cutting these, it will not shrink. So then you push this down. This is a technique that we use for shrimp tempura. So the shrimp goes straight. And for this one, you will put skewer inside. Then boil it. I'll do one more. So cut the inside the body side, the belly side. Then put the belly bottom, push it, you can hear the sound. Then from the tail, push the skewer in. So after you boil it, it does not curl up. Then all you have to do is to cook. I'm gonna bring everything back in. So this is the rice, and I need water with little vinegar inside. This is to wet your hand. Then I need sesame seeds. This is toasted sesame seeds. And I need makisu, the roller. And I highly recommend to get gloves. This is a little cumbersome, but the rice will not stick to your hand. Then I'm going to bring all the veggies and fish. Then before we start, I want to explain about nori. So seaweed, these are nori, and normally we use this size to make most of rolls, but you can only buy this at the store. All you have to do is to fold it in half and break it into half. So you can see the line here, and this is a little bit longer than this. So you fold it like this. Then since nori is dry, it just breaks into half. Very easy. Unless we're making huge rolls, we use this size. And you can also see nori has rough side, where you can see the line a little bit, and shiny side. Makisu also has flat side and bumpy side. So on the bumpy side, you're supposed to put all the crease on the plastic. So this is smooth. And we're going to use the smooth side up of makisu. Then I'm going to wet my hands a little bit, put seaweed away from water because you don't want to wet the seaweed. And wet my hand a little bit. Then I put this glove. If my hand's a little bit wet, it will not move inside. It'll stick. So you can't wet too much. Also, my hands are small, so it's pretty easy to put this in. If it's too hard for you, you can just put your hands in, then put a little bit of water inside. Okay, so it's stuck to your hand. Then put nori. We're going to make kappa. Kappa is a cucumber roll, and it's a small roll with seaweed outside. So make sure the shiny part goes down because you're rolling this way, and the rough side up. Then again, you're going to wet your hand. Then get a little bit of rice. Just about this much. Then make a line in the middle. Make sure to make this line so that you know how much rice you're putting onto the seaweed. It has to be about this much. If you put too much rice, then you cannot roll because it's, roll, the size is limited. And you can tell I'm just using the tip of my fingers to spread rice, and I'm not pressing. You don't want to press rice too much because you want to make sure the sushi is fluffy. And you would bring this nori all the way down to the end of makisu. Then for kappa, cucumber roll, put sesame seeds, then 2 medium-sized cucumbers. If your cucumber is smaller at one end against the other, put that into the middle. So where the overlap, it's small. 2 thumbs underneath, the rest of the fingers on top. Come up. Try not to roll it. By rolling it, you keep this open. Instead, aim the end of rice comes to the end of rice. So 2 thumbs underneath, the rest of the fingers on top. Aim here. And you should be able to see the seam. If you don't see the seam here, that means you have too much rice. And at this point, do not roll. Roll means you're pushing it down. Squeeze just a little bit. Pick this up. Push halfway. Then use your knuckle to shape it. Actually, Japanese sushi, especially hosomaki, the thin rolls, a little bit square. It's very easy. You have wonderful sushi. And you don't need any water nor rice to stick this part. Because of the moisture from the rice, it will stick. All you have to do is to keep the seam down. We're going to do one more hosomaki, small roll. So put your seaweed here at the end with your hand and get about the same amount as before of rice. And make this line, then start to break this line by spreading the rice out. And we're going to make tekka. Tekka is tuna roll. So we're going to get this tuna. Put it in the middle. 2 thumbs underneath, the rest of the fingers on top. Aim at the end of rice. Squeeze a little bit. Make sure you have the seam. Pick this up. Push and shape. That's it. Were you able to make one? Just like this. Put the seam down. Right, next, we're going to do inside out rolls. So for inside out rolls, which side of nori should be up? It really doesn't matter, but I think it's easier to just remember rough side up for everything. And wet the hand again. Then get rice. This time, a little bit more. Just a tiny bit more. Then spread this out. This time, don't leave the seam. Before, for hosomaki, we left about 1/2 inch seam on top. But this one, don't leave the seam. And spread the rice all over. Then this time, put sesame seeds all over. Then, I've been telling you not to push down the rice, right? Because I know everybody's worried about rice going somewhere. Rice sticks, doesn't go anywhere. Okay, then flip. Because it's inside out rolls, you need to flip it. Then 2 small cucumbers. And 2 avocados. And tuna. So 3 items go into this. And this also same. 2 thumbs underneath and the rest of the fingers on top. This time you notice the rice is coming up from here. Make sure to tap it so that there's no air inside. Otherwise, after you roll it, cut it, try to eat it, pick it up with chopsticks, inside might fall out. That's it. We're going to do 1 more inside out rolls. Wet your hand again and get the rice. Okay, you have to spread this out again all the way. Okay, sesame seeds. This one is California rolls. Flip the rice. 2 small cucumbers. 2 avocados. Then crab meat. So for the California rolls, the key is not to put crab meat all the way because it's going to crumble out. It's kind of squeezed out. So leave just a little bit of space here. 2 thumbs underneath, the rest of the fingers on top. And tap, pick up, and roll. Just like this. So we have 2 different types of rolls, hosomaki and uramaki. Uramaki is inside out rolls. Next, we're going to do futomaki. Futoi means fat, so it's going to be a big roll. We cannot make big rolls this way, so we're going to use seaweed vertically. With your hands. A lot more rice. A lot more. And leave about 1 inch seam on top. And spread the rice. And for this one, I need 1 big cucumber. Actually, yes, 1 big cucumber. Then spicy tuna. You can put a lot of tuna. Then 1 slice of avocado. Same way, 2 thumbs underneath, the rest of the fingers on top. This time, keep one hand here, the other hand outside. Aim at the end of rice. Squeeze a little bit. Pick up, push, and shape. And this time, because it's a big roll, rice will come out. What you need to do is to align it to the left top. Push this in. Align to the right. Then push this in. You can actually use this technique for all the other rolls as well. Next is shrimp roll. This is the shrimp that's cooked. All you have to do is to take off this skewer. And not only that, I want to do something a little bit different. So you made cucumber roll. What I want to do is to cut this cucumber roll into half. Then use this cucumber roll. Okay. With your hand. This one, little less than the one before, because what we're going to do is we're going to roll kappa, which is this cucumber roll. A little bit less. And not only that, what we're going to do is we're going to do inside out rolls. You've already learned inside out rolls and futomaki. So put this side where it's no rice close to you, just like this, just like this. Then put cucumber roll, 1 avocado, 1 shrimp. Then start with this, kind of wrapping it. Wrap at this point, squeeze once, pick up, shape, just like this. So you can do cucumber roll inside, and shrimp coming out. Last roll would be Tamari Sushi. And what you need for Tamari Sushi is plastic, saran wrap. Okay, you get plastic, put it on your hand, then take 1 tuna with your hand and put really small amount, not big amount, in here. And all you do is to wrap it and squeeze to make little ball. That's it. Very easy. It's more like nigiri. And let me show you example of bad temari. if you put a lot of rice, when you make it, there's more rice than fish. This is not good. So make sure how pretty this is to make it to this size. And if you want to decorate them, you can just cut a little bit of cucumbers. Put it on. Very cute. So this too, we can remake it. Take off all this extra rice. Remember, sushi is one bite, so you don't want to put a lot of rice. Here, this looks much nicer. Then we also cut salmon, so we're going to do salmon as well. I'm gonna get this one salmon. With your hand, get a little bit of rice. Then make a little ball. So you can put anything on top. For salmon, lemon goes really well. So you can put a little bit of lemon on it. That would be great. And you could put shiso. Shiso is another leaf that we often use for sushi. And that's another item that you can put on. So, and since I have a little bit of avocado here, I'm going to put avocado on this, the yellow part. Let's do yellow part. Basically, you can put anything you like to make it very pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to slice these and plate them. So I have this plate ready. So since I already have this made, I'm going to put this on. However, before I put anything onto the plate, I want to wet the plate a little bit. Okay, then I put these on. Why do I wet it? Because if I decide to move these over here, I can move it. If I don't wet the plate, once you put these sushi on, you cannot move it around. So make sure to wet the plate first. Then I'm going to start slicing these. Let's do this. This is tekka. So what we normally do is put the tip of your knife into water, then lift it then put it down. By doing so, the water goes down and wet that edge. That way, rice does not stick. So wet it. Then these long rolls are cut into 6 pieces. Cut it into half. And make sure not to press it down, but slice it. Then pick these up. This side is not pretty, so you pick this up like this. Okay? Then every time you cut your sushi, make sure to wipe your knife. Blade facing that way, put the towel over, then pull it. If you do not do this, next roll you try to cut, rice gets gummy. So I'm gonna put this aside. And next roll, I'm going to cut this into half again. And this one, if it's breaking a little bit, all you have to do is to shape it. Okay. Then cut just like this. Then I'm going to cut these diagonally. Wipe your knife. So it goes like this. Okay, next roll. This is going to be even cuter. What I'm going to do is to squeeze one side. So it's a little bit triangle. Cut into half. One third. Wipe your knife. This is a teardrop. It becomes like this. Very cute. Next, we're going to do these. These big rolls are cut into 5 pieces. And the key is to cut the end piece a little bit bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wipe your knife. Then these, you can decorate them like this, so you can see the tail coming up. And another 5-piece one, same as the other one. The side should be bigger. Like a knife. This one, you can just do this way. And make sure you don't show this side. So this side. Then now we're going to plate these. So you want to put this here. This, instead of just putting it like this, put it on the side a little bit. It looks better. And let's put this over here. these like this. Maybe I can put this over here. Tough. Oops. Then this will change the shape a little bit. Here you go. It looks good. So even with the limited amount of resources, you can make a lot of different types of rolls. You can pretty much get crab meat, shrimp, and salmon. So you can do any of this, even if you don't get tuna. And the combination of salmon and crab meat is also good. Shrimp and crab meat is good. So you can combine them to make different flavors. And if you cannot get good cucumbers, you can use celery. Any other crunchy veggies would be great. Then instead of avocado, you can use mangoes, you can use some kind of little bit wet, I would say, wet fruit would be great as well. Papaya would be good. Papaya and eel goes really well. So you can search for your favorite combination. Now that sushi is ready, you can enjoy the sushi. And meanwhile, what I want to do is open to Q&A. And while you eat and ask questions, I'm going to talk about sushi. So do you know where sushi came from? Type it in. No, it's not Japan. Actually, it came from Southeast Asia. 4 BC, it seemed like in Southeast Asia, people are fermenting fish using rice and salt and eating that, discarding the rice and eating the fish. That was the origin of sushi. At that time, there was no refrigeration, so they needed to do something to keep the fish longer, to be able to eat the fish longer. So they were fermenting the fish and eating it. And in about 700s, it came to Japan through China. And at the time, we were eating just like that, and we call it narezushi. So we have basically 2 different types of sushi. One is fish, rice, and salt, and fermented, and that's called narezushi. And the current style of sushi is more of rice vinegar than fresh fish. So it's different. And late 1800s, Tokyo was still called Edo. At that time, this quick sushi became really, really popular. And there was no transportation that time, no cars. So people were traveling on foot. And along the street, there were lots of huts. And that was the sushi restaurant. So the sushi was actually street food and finger food. Still now, in Tokyo style sushi, we eat with fingers. So the sushi became really popular in Tokyo, and that sushi was nigiri sushi, similar to these temari, but it was made one by one. Very delicate sushi, and people were picking that up with fingers and eating it. And in 1923, there was a big earthquake, and those huts, a lot of Japanese buildings were made with woods, So everything broke down and there was a huge fire. So everything burned down. And all the people who had sushi restaurant went back to where they came from. And that's how sushi spread out. And sushi is different by region. So Tokyo style sushi is the nigiri sushi. And when you go to a restaurant in Tokyo, sometimes you see the little curtains at the door and it says Edomae. Edomae means nigiri sushi. If you go to Osaka, they have different sushi. They have box sushi. It's hollow box, like baking. And they put fish on the bottom, rice, then they press it and turn it over. Then you make tons of nigiri at the same time, more productive. So that's how kozushi is. And they have sugata sushi. Sugata sushi is just the whole fish, deboned whole fish on top of rice. Or they have tekone sushi. Tekone sushi, it's te means hand, and koneru means mix. So all the fish and veggies with rice mixed by hand. So different region has different sushi. And everybody enjoys different type of sushi in Japan. When you go into sushi restaurant, first of all, you have to go to sushi restaurant to eat sushi. All the food is divided by the restaurant. So restaurant serves only one style of food. If you go to sushi restaurant, you're gonna get only sushi. If you go to ramen restaurant, you get only ramen. Well, ramen comes with sometimes pot stickers or fried rice, but very limited. You're not gonna get sushi and ramen at the same place unless you go to izakaya. So when you go to a sushi restaurant, often people start with sashimi, then move into sushi. It's hardly that we start with sushi, then eat sashimi. We start with simple things, then go into heavier items. And sushi is one of the very rare items that we drink and eat rice at the same time. Typically, we do not eat rice or we do not drink soup while we are drinking alcohol. And especially, soup is the last item that we eat in Japan. So you would start with sashimi, and sashimi doesn't come with ginger. You know why? Ginger is a palate cleanser. Normally we eat sashimi, then we eat seaweed. It comes with seaweed. Then when we move to sushi, we also start with light items like white fish, like snapper or flounder. Then we're gonna move into something heavier, like fatty items like hamachi, yellowtail, fatty tuna, toro, eel, something like that. So it goes from light to heavy. And we also do not put too much sauce. Inside out rolls, like these rolls, are developed in the US, not in Japan. The reason that we have sushi is because we traveled with it. And by wrapping rice with seaweed, rice does not dry out. So if we're plating like this and leave it for about 10 minutes, these inside out rolls will dry out. But these rolls with seaweed outside don't. Also, unless you're going to eat right away, do not slice the rolls because all these areas facing the air will dry out. And another interesting thing about sushi is we have all different names for all different things. Rice, cooked rice is called gohan, but for sushi it's called shari. Soy sauce is called shoyu, but Only at sushi occasion we call it murasaki. Hot tea is ocha, but sushi it's agari. And cucumber rolls are called kappa. The cucumber itself is not kappa. So if you go to the sushi restaurant and the sushi chef is calling cucumber kappa, that's not real sushi chef. Kappa is a cucumber roll. Cucumber is cutie. Do you have any more questions? Just write it in. My staff is answering all the questions. So now you know how to make sushi and the sushi history. You can enjoy the sushi a little bit more. Enjoy. Oh, last item. In Japan, normally chef doesn't say bon appetit. In Japan, the people who would eat will thank sushi chef. And we say itadakimasu. Remember that you go to Disneyland. Eat a ducky mouse. Itadakimasu. Now that you know how to cook sushi and know the history, you can enjoy this more. Well, again, thank you so much for attending our first cooking webinar dojo. Next one is ramen. So stay tuned. Mata ne. Bye bye.